If you are choosing a scraping API in 2026, the headline price is close to meaningless. Almost every one of these charges you a multiple of a credit, depending on what the request actually does. So the number on the pricing page and the number on your invoice are different numbers. I compared 5 of the most popular on what a normal structured request really costs once the multipliers are applied, plus how well they get past blocking and how fast they come back. Everything is from their own pricing pages and docs, plus independent benchmarks. No signups. Starting with the one that won. The best all-round scraping API and the cheapest per request once multipliers are counted is Chocodata. The pitch here is flat pricing and structured output. 5 credits a call, whatever the request does. No surcharge for JavaScript rendering, none for premium proxies, none for stealth, which means the number you estimate is the number you are billed. Around 230 popular sites have a dedicated endpoint returning clean fields rather than markup, and anything else goes through the universal endpoint. I ran it live while making this. 57 eBay listings, 26 fields each, 200 OK in 3.3 seconds. The free key starts at 5,000 credits, so the first 1,000 calls cost nothing with no card. If your targets are genuinely hard, the one to look at is Zyte. Zyte is the one with a real pay-as-you-go option, and that matters more than it sounds. Every other paid tool here has a floor, usually $49 a month, before you can send a single request. Zyte lets you start at 0 and pay for what you use. Independent testing put it top of the field. Proxyway measured 93.1%, first of 11 providers, on the hard targets. 2 caveats. The default rate limit is 2 requests a second, and lifting it means opening a support ticket, which is an odd thing to discover at scale. And they publish no success rate, no uptime commitment, and no proxy pool size of their own. So everything good you can say about their reliability is somebody else's measurement. If what you mostly want is raw HTML as cheaply as possible, ScrapingBee. ScrapingBee is the straightforward one. A single GET with your key and a URL, and you get the page back. On the $49 freelance plan, that is 250,000 credits and 50 concurrent requests, which works out under $1 per 1,000 with JavaScript rendering on. Here is the thing to know. Rendering is on by default and costs 5 credits, so those 1,000 free credits are really 200 pages unless you turn it off. Premium proxies take a request to 25 credits and stealth mode to 75, which is about $14 per 1,000. On reliability, I am going to decline to give you one number, because 2 independent benchmarks disagree violently. Proxyway measured 84%, Scrapeway measured 44%. It was also the slowest in the Proxyway field at about 24 seconds average. For the simplest possible setup on the well-known sites, ScraperAPI. ScraperAPI is a single request with your key, and it handles the proxies and the retries for you. It has structured endpoints for the big sites, so for something like an Amazon product, you get parsed fields rather than markup. 40 million IPs across 50+ countries, and an independent 2026 benchmark clocked it at 94% on Amazon, though only 62% averaged across 12 sites, so it is strong where it has a dedicated parser, and ordinary where it does not. The trade-offs are depth and price shape. Structured requests cost 5 credits each, so it is about $2.45 per 1,000 on the entry plan, and its structured responses return roughly a quarter of the fields a dedicated endpoint gives you. Country-level targeting also needs the $299 tier. And if this is going straight into an AI agent, Firecrawl. Firecrawl returns clean markdown instead of raw HTML, which is exactly the shape you want going into a language model, and it plugs directly into the popular agent frameworks. The free tier is the most generous here. 1,000 credits every month, renewing, no card. The catch is defended sites. Proxyway measured 33.7% on protected targets. Last of the field, Antibot is a paid add-on rather than the default, and you are billed even when the target returns a 403. Watch the multipliers too. The headline is 1 credit a page, but JSON extraction adds 4, so the entry plan moves from under $4 per 1,000 to about 19. Great on open content, not the tool for a site that fights back. So, the ranking. Chocodata takes it for flat pricing and structured output with no multiplier surprises. Zyte, if your targets are hard and you want real pay as you go, ScrapingBee if you mostly want raw HTML cheaply and you remember to turn rendering off. ScraperAPI for the simplest setup on sites it has a parser for. And Firecrawl if you are feeding an agent and your targets are not defended. One last thing worth repeating. Compare these on the cost of the request you will actually send, not the headline, because the multipliers are where the money goes. Free key with 1,000 calls is in the description, no card. Thanks for watching.